This is Mark. 1 month ago, Mark was laid off from his job as a software engineer and his back was completely against the wall. And now he's on track to hit his first 50K month trading in literally 1 month. So what changed? Well, Mark took a 30-day intensive bootcamp and he's going to share with you everything that he learned and the way that he was able to get from his back against the wall to now becoming a profitable trader. And literally in just 1 week, he was able to double his monthly paycheck with options trading. So watch this interview to find out how he was able to do it and comment all your questions down below. First of all, can you, what's your name?
Mark Pope.
All right, awesome. And before you joined the bootcamp, right? Where were you in your trading?
I've traded off and on for years. I've blown through a couple accounts. About 2 years ago, I picked it up. Yeah, it's been about 2 years. 2 years ago, I picked it up again. But what I was doing was there's a trader on X. He has a service, and so I was paying for his service. And he teaches a little bit, but it's mostly he just does a call out, and he does swing trading as well. From 2 years ago of 2023 through December, I was using his trades and also, following different people on X or whatever. And I did really, really well. I was able to triple my account in a short time. However, last year he was abysmal. And so what happened was it sort of worked out, and I still take some of my own trades, but I still 100% didn't know what I was doing. And so I found you around November, and then everything sort of coincided timing wise or whatever, that I realized I can't keep counting on somebody else 100%. I'm sure he had a losing year last year, really bad. I need to learn how to do this myself. And if I'm going to lose, then it's going to be on my, because I don't know what I'm doing or because I made a mistake or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. So you basically is that why you wanted to join the boot camp, because you wanted to kind of
I've always been interested in trading. It's been a passion. I'm a computer programmer, and I got laid off a little over a year ago. And so I've always wanted to give this a shot, but I didn't want the pressure of this is the only income I have coming in. But in a way, it's good because it forces you to be strict on your trades and to learn what you're doing. It's come time that I needed to either find another job or, and the boot camp came perfect timing. I was like, I'm still not working. I'm going to go ahead and do this and then give it a shot to see if I can do this. I've always loved it. I've got a passion for it. Every time we had a boot camp at night, I was pumped and excited for it. And so I know that's my thing.
And what was your thought? What were you thinking going through the whole process?
I'm just really excited to learn even the fundamentals, and then there's certain topics that we covered that really helped me a lot that I definitely needed work in. The psychology was a huge part for me as well. And then seeing, other people in the boot camp and everybody's eager to learn and everything like that too. And then having a group of people that were still sharing ideas and everything like that. That's been a tough thing too, is I always traded on my own in a vacuum, and that's tough. You don't have feedback. You can't share a trade with somebody and see what they think of it to critique it or, whatever.
And did you have any doubts or any fears going into the boot camp before we started?
I was wondering how comprehensive it would be, and it far exceeded my expectations.
Right. And even though you had a little bit of, did you have any doubts in joining though at all?
No. Once I got in, actually after the first class, I was like, yeah, this is going to be good.
Okay, awesome. And since the boot camp, where are you at now? So you're kind of telling me a little bit before, but
yeah, it sort of forced me what happened. And just to share with you, I actually last year on my own, not using my other guys' trades, my own trades sort of saved me. But again, I still had bad habits. But I made 100K trading Tesla last year and doing contracts, just doing calls. And I also made a ton in MicroStrategy last year. Those were my big two. But what happened was I way overtrade. So I'll be in 10 to 15 positions sometimes. And then whenever we had the FOMC in December, I was just buried immediately. And then I didn't know about, I couldn't read the market and the market shifts and stuff like that. So I was still putting a lot of money in January and just got pounded. And then again, still over trading in too many things. So the boot camp really helped shine a spotlight on my own shadow. And so I saw I'm over trading. When the market's not going right, I'm still putting in the same amount of money, so I'm not sizing down. I wasn't taking stop losses, kind of an ego thing. You're like, oh, it'll come back, and then you end up losing 100%. And if you do that a few times, it takes so many wins to get that back sometimes.
Yeah, totally. And P&L wise, over the last month and a half, I think it has been, what has been your P&L?
I was trading some at the beginning of boot camp, and I definitely lost a little bit, not a lot, but I wasn't journaling at the time. So for the last week of boot camp until today, doing smaller size, 2 to 3,000 per contract, I'm up about 17 to 18,000.
Awesome. And is that something that, you think you can consistently achieve like over the next, like, this whole year or just going forward?
Basically, I think it's gonna get a lot better because I've been sizing down, and also I'm trading in the worst market that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And so once we can actually do swing trades that you can actually swing for 3-4 weeks, a month and a half, and things are actually, the setups are actually following through, and you can scale out, and they've really moved up, see like some stage 2 type stuff, then yeah, I think I'll make a whole lot more. And like I've seen with you, that's what's happened to me, like with Tesla and MicroStrategy last year. There's always those ones that can kind of make your year.
Yep.
And so I think once the market steadies a little bit, then those will come about. So yeah, I'm thrilled to make what I've made in the last 3 weeks considering the market. If I hadn't taken the boot camp, God knows where I would be right now. The last 3 weeks would have been just blood.
Yeah, it's honestly been a really tough market, but I think like, we had pretty good foundations like going into like what was going to happen and everything. But yeah, overall, like what do you think is like the one thing that you learned the most? And like when we have other people from the boot camp, like what could they use the most from the boot camp to actually like put into effect everything that we like learned?
Yeah, I think being like understanding too that the overall market, no matter how good the setup is, the overall market would make that either work or not work. Another thing, the psychology part that you said, even taking some time off, if you've made some bad trades, sizing down, stepping away for a few days or even a couple weeks, and just coming back with a clear head, I think that's huge. And that's something that I didn't do well before. And so the psychology part was huge. Being able to see institutional footprints, like seeing when they're buying and seeing when they're selling, being able to shift. Like one thing that's really impressed me, and I joined the options cartel this week, because watching you in the morning, you're not rushing in anything. You're really taking everything in. You know that there's always going to be setups. You're not jumping on the first thing or just trying to guess in the first 2 seconds what the market's going to be that day. And so it's teaching me patience. And so watching you in the morning is actually, I joined last week. That's been a huge help for just psychologically and understanding that I could be patient and wait for the setup to come to me.
Right. Yeah. That's probably like the biggest thing that I was trying to, teach, like patience. That's where, like you said, we only need a few setups a year to really like make our year. So if we can have the patience to wait for like those A+ setups, can make a lot more money than trying to take like little stabs at everything, that's not like actually there. But yeah, that's amazing to hear. If someone is watching like this video right now or this testimonial and they're like unsure about taking the next step to joining maybe a potential new bootcamp that we're going to be doing, is there anything you would tell them?
I would say it's probably, if they're going to be traders, if they want to take this seriously, or even if they have another job and they want to make money, on the side, but they want to control instead of paying somebody else that could probably lose everything for them. If they want to take control of their finances and know what they're doing, then it's worth it tenfold. Like I made my money back in one trade. It's gonna stick with me for a lifetime. And also, like with you, for your age, it's like amazing your maturity, and you're like a natural born teacher. Just the class flowed, seeing everybody's reaction to the class and everything, and how we're all growing, and watching everybody even still in the Discord, sharing ideas and everything they've learned and everything. I can't imagine a better experience. Even most classes would probably be like a couple days or something like that, 2-3 days, even a week. But to have a month where you can take a little at a time, a chunk here, because you don't want to overload too much information at once. So I thought the month was an absolute perfect amount.
Awesome. And yeah, do you have any other feedback, anything you would have liked to maybe see us do better, just because we can always learn and get better?
I can't imagine how it could get much better, to be honest with you. It was that good.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
I really appreciate you. Like I told you, I was at a crossing point where I have to decide if I'm going to go back to being a computer programmer or doing this, and you've given me the confidence and skill set that I think I can do this.
Yeah, definitely. I'm super glad to hear that. Okay, well, is there anything else you wanted to share or anything?
I appreciate you. I appreciate the community. I think also I've learned being in the community really helps with trading. You see other people make similar mistakes and learning together, and just having other people that you can bounce ideas off of is huge.